This slide shows the oxidative stage of pentose phosphate pathways, which start with the glucose 6-phosphate by the action of glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme use NADP as a coenzyme, which converted to NADPH, and the glucose 6-phosphate will convert it to 6-phosphoglucolactone. Then, by addition of a molecule of water and catalyzed by enzyme glucolactonase enzyme, converted to 6-phosphogluconate, which then converted by 6-phosphogluconate dehydrogenase to and need also which need NADP as a coenzyme and converted to NADPH and formation of ribulose 5-phosphate plus CO2. إذا لو نختصر احنا طبعا ما نريد هذه شو اسمه، بس احنا نقول ال 6 glucose 6-phosphate by 3 reactions converted to ribulose 5-phosphate plus 2 molecule of NADPH plus CO2. الرياكشن in general لأنه الخطوة الأولى هي glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase هي rate limiting step، إذا نختصرها نقول الرياكشن of this step اللي هي irreversible oxidative step catalyzed by glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. Now, we can represent this reaction also, or the first step, by this equation. Glucose 6-phosphate plus 2 NADP plus water. This reaction catalyzed by glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. واختصرنا كل هاي الثلاث خطوات. رأسا انطينا البرودكت اللي هو ribose 5-phosphate plus CO2 plus 2 NADPH plus 2H. طبعا هو بالأساس احنا قلنا هناك رايبولوز، هذا مو غلط. هنا المعادلة هذا الشكل يبين لنا انه عندنا another enzyme اللي هو phosphopentose isomerase enzyme حول الرايبولوز 5-phosphate to its aldose isomer اللي هو ribose 5-phosphate. يعني نفس الشيء إذا تكتب رايبولوز وبعدين تقول رايبولوز راح يتحول إلى رايبوز، مو مشكلة. البنتوز phosphate pathways does not function in the production of higher energy compound like ATP. يعني احنا قلنا هي هسه هذا عملية كاتابوليزم للجلوكوز، بس هل ولدت ATP مثل البقية مثل البيتا اوكسيديشن or مثل glycolysis مثل الكريبس سايكل؟ ما ولدت ATP، وإنما ولدت NADPH. Two molecules very important for fatty acid steroid synthesis or for maintenance لل reduced glutathione, which is important for antioxidant activity of glutathione. Regulation of glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase activity. Increase in NADPH to NADP is sufficiently high to substantially decrease in glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase activity, while increase in demand of or for NADPH decrease this ratio and increase the activity of glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme. Also, insulin, which secrete after feeding, increase the gene expression of glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase and increase the fluxes through the pathways. هذا شو وقت يزداد increase in the well feed state، يعني after feeding. Insulin معروف secretion after feeding when the glucose level is high, so it's converted by glucokinase to glucose 6-phosphate. واحدة من the fates of glucose 6-phosphate enter the pentose phosphate pathways in order to produce NADPH, which is important for fatty acid synthesis and steroid, and also production of ribose 5-phosphate, which is important for nucleic acid formation and formation of nucleotides. Now, the second step, which is reversible non-oxidative reactions. The non-oxidative reactions of the pentose phosphate pathways occur in all cell types, synthesizing nucleotides and nucleic acid. These reactions catalyze the interconversion of 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 carbon sugars. So, by this non-oxidative reversible reaction, can convert the ribulose 5-phosphate to ribose 5-phosphate. It means from ketone form to aldehyde form. يعني both هو pentose sugar. Ribulose هو ketone والribose هو aldehyde. Or can by this reaction also form one of the intermediates of glycolysis process, for example, glucose 6-phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. So this slide shows the non-oxidative reversible reaction by equation. Ribulose 5-phosphate can converted by reversible reaction catalyzed by ribose 5-phosphate isomerase enzyme lead to formation ribose 5-phosphate, which is this can be used for synthesis of nucleotide, and then قسم من هاي nucleotide نستعملها بالsynthesis of nucleic acid و others إلها other function in our body. Or ribulose 5-phosphate can converted by reversible action catalyzed by ribulose phosphate epimerase enzyme to form xylulose 5-phosphate. What means epimerase? It means difference around the arrangements of hydrogen and oxygen around one carbon atoms. يعني still هو كيتون يتحول إلى كيتون ثاني بس arrangements around one of the carbon atoms. You must know number of the carbon atoms من اللي ده تختلف هنا. لكن من يتحول إلى رايبوز بواسطة الايزوميريز فهنا على الفانكشنال جروب راح تتغير النمبر 1 و 2 راح تتغير يعني 2 كربون اتومز فهذا مو ابيمر هذا ايزومير. اذا الانزيم كاتالايز ذس رياكشن ايزوميريز فحولناه الى الدهايد اللي هو رايبوز 5 فوسفيت. So the ribose 5 phosphate قسم من عندنا راح نستعمله for nucleotide synthesis وقسم nucleic acid والقسم الآخر is converted back to glucose 6-phosphate by a series of reactions involving especially two enzymes. Transketolase transfer of the two carbon fragments. This enzyme requires thiamine pyrophosphate as a coenzyme. thiamine pyrophosphate هو derivatives من الثيامين هو الفيتامين B1. So, transfer of two carbon fragments from ketose donor to aldose acceptor. And the following equation represent this reaction. طبعا هذه الموجودة أنواع من الكيتوز والألدوز وهي same reaction. This is non-oxidative reversible reaction. So الكيتوز donor it means هذا الإنزيم اللي هو transketolase with الثيامين pyrophosphate by reversible reaction راح يسوي ينقل transfer هذه التو كربون البين كلر من الكيتوز ويحولها إلى الألدوز. lead to formation a new aldose sugar and a new ketose sugar. Transaldolase transfer of 3 carbon fragments 3 carbon in the form of dihydroxyacetone unit from a ketose donor to an aldose acceptor.